So here we have angle measures, and we're talking about congruent angles. Congruent, the symbol here is two equal signs, or an equal sign with a tilde above it, and it means that they're the same angle. So angles that have the same measure are congruent angles. A ray that divides an angle into two congruent angles is called an angle bisector. An angle bisector. So in this figure, we have this angle MPR, and the angle bisector would be NP, right, or PN. And how do I know that PN is the angle bisector of MPR? Because of these two arcs here, right? So they're the same arcs, which means that this angle is congruent with that angle there, right? So MPN is congruent with NPR, and that's what this says here. So angle bisector is the word that you need to know. Refer to this figure here. If MPN is 2x plus 14, so here's 2x plus 14, and then NPR is x plus 34, then we want to find x and then find the measure of NPR. So how do we get this done? Well, they tell us that PN is the angle bisector of the entire angle, which means this angle is equal to that angle. So when we're creating our equation, we're going to set the expression that is equal to the measure of MPN, that's 2x plus 14. We're going to set that equal to the measure of NPR, so that's going to be x plus 34. So we have our equation, and now we can find our x. So we're going to subtract x from both sides. It's going to be x, and we're going to subtract 14 from both sides, and we're going to be left with x is equal to 20. All right, so we found x, great. And now we want to find the measure of NPR. So measure angle NPR is equal to, and they give us the expression, it's x plus 34, but we found x, so we can go ahead and plug it in. So we get 20 plus 34 is equal to 54. So that's the measure of NPR. I'm going to put a little degree sign up there. Right. Now we have a couple of exercises that are similar but different, right? So here we have this figure. We know that PQ and QR are opposite rays. That means that PQR is 180 degrees. It's a straight line. And we know that QS bisects PQT. So bisects, what does that mean? That means that these two angles are congruent. They have the same measure. So now what do? They give us PQT, the big angle. This entire angle is 60 degrees. And then they give us an expression for PQS, right? It's 4x plus 14. So how can we create an equation so that we can find x? Well, we're going to say the entire angle, 60, right? This PQT is equal to the first angle, 4x plus 14, right? That's this first angle. And then we know the second angle is the same measure, right? So we can go ahead and add 4x plus 14 again. And there's different ways you could set up this problem, right? You can go ahead and say 2 times parentheses 4x plus 14. You could also do 4x plus 14 equals 30, right? Half of the entire measure. Right? Or we could set it up this way. So now I'm going to combine my like terms, and I get 60 is equal to 8x plus 28. I subtract 28 from both sides, and I get 32 is equal to 8x. I divide both sides by 8, and I finally get x is equal to 4. Right. So we found our value of x, and that's all they're looking for this question. So we are done. Right. All right. So now over here, they are telling us PQS is equal to this expression, and SQT is equal to that expression. And they're asking us find the entire PQT. Now, in problem number 1, PQT was 60 degrees. But in problem 2, it's not 60 degrees. We're supposed to find it ourselves, right? So how can we set this up? Well, we need an equation. And what's our equation going to be? Well, we know that QS is our angle bisector, splitting our two angles into two equal parts. So that means this measure is equal to this measure. So our equation is going to be 3x plus 13 is equal to 6x minus 2. We set the two measures equal to each other. because they are congruent, because QS is an angle bisector. So now I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides, and I'm going to add 2 to both sides, right? So I get 15 is equal to 3x. I divide both sides by 3, and I get x is equal to 5. All right, well, that's fine, right? Now, how do we find the value or the measure of PQT? Well, we need to substitute 5x into our expression here and there, right? So what I can say here is measure of angle PQT is equal to the first angle, 3x plus 13, plus the second angle, 6x minus 2. There's different ways you could set this up, but I find this is the easiest to explain, right? The first angle plus the second angle. Okay, now we're going to substitute in 5 for our x and find out what we have. Well, let me go ahead and first combine our like terms. So this is going to be 9x plus 11, right? Now I'm going to substitute in 5 for x. So it's going to be 9 times 5 plus 9 times 5 is what, 45 plus 11, so that's 56 degrees. And that is my second answer there, right? So I found my x and I found my measure of PQT. So now we're moving on to this figure, and what we're told in this figure is that AB and BC are opposite rays, so this is a straight line, this is 180 degrees, and then BF bisects CBE. So angle 4 is congruent with angle 3, so these two guys are congruent. All right, so now what are we given? We're given EBF is equal to this expression, and CBF is equal to that expression, right? So find the angle 3, find EBF, right? So how can we do this? Well, we need to come up with our equation, and what's our equation? It's angle 3 is going to equal to angle 4. First angle is going to equal to the second angle, right? So I got 6x plus 4 is equal to 7x minus 2. I'll subtract 6x from both sides. I'll add 2 to both sides. So I get 6 is equal to x, and I found my x. But we're not looking for x. We're looking for measure EBF. So measure angle EBF is going to equal to 6x plus 4. I'm going to substitute in my 6 for my x, and I'll get 36 plus 4, so it's going to equal to 40 degrees, right? So now that we're here, we have 3 more exercises. Let's do one more, and then I'll let you do the last 2 on your own. So this one here, we have measure angle 3 is equal to this expression, measure angle 4 is equal to this expression. We're supposed to now find measure of angle 4. Well, we have the same situation where BF is bisecting the angle EBC, so angle 3 is equal to angle 4. So the equation that we can create is this expression, angle 3, is equal to this expression, the measure of angle 4. So we get 4x plus 10 is equal to 5x, right? And now we're going to subtract 4x from both sides, and we'll say 10 is equal to x. But we're not looking for x, we're looking for measure of angle 4. So measure angle 4 is equal to 5x. Well, x is 10, so my measure of angle 4 is going to be 50, and that is my answer there. And so I'll go ahead and let you do number 5 and 6 on your own, but those are the exercises on this page.